This is our morning in Skagway. 7:42 a.m. local time. Today we take a train ride up to the White Pass. But there is some blue sky up above. Lots of clouds. But it's not raining. Ferry boat or something coming by here. Probably going to take people someplace. Beautiful mountains right here in the harbor. Some are covered with clouds. Beautiful. It's brightening up over the city. Over the town. These ships, we left these ships in port when we left Juneau last night, and they brought up to us seagull singing at us.
Train personnel. So please stay on board the coach car that you boarded this morning. There's no crossing from car to car, and the bridge overlaps on the platform and is a tripping age of 16. Children under the age of 16 need to be accompanied by an adult at all times while outside on those platforms. And folks, that includes spouses that act under the age of 16 as well. You all know who you are. So stay right close to your beautiful wife. That's nudging you right now. Anyway, on with our safety announcements. There's no smoking on board our train. We'll just assume that they're on fire, and we will take the necessary precautions we see fit to put them out. Also, has that thousands of prospectors traveled in search of gold over 120 years ago. It was the Klondike Gold Rush that spurred the construction of this railroad and founded the town of Skagway that you are visiting today. As we ride the rails together, I'll be sharing with you the incredible history of the Klondike Gold Rush, the men that labored and risked their lives building this railroad, and some... Soon start to see remnants of Brackett's Toll Road. This area had an old Tlingit trading route trail that the natives in search for gold. So George Brackett widened the trail, made a wagon road, but ran out of money. So he had to charge a toll. He was making about $1,000 a day based on the tolls that he was charging. The hikers would use it for free. Many people wonder why this railroad is built, and the short answer to that is gold. In 1893, there was an economic downfall, so many people had lost their jobs. But the news of the gold rush in 1897, 1898, there were thousands on the line at any given time. Because of a high turnover rate, they were able to complete it in just 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. Out of the 35,000 men, because there was a high turnover.
Wow. 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 allé les voir. C'est beau, hein? Oui.
That's beautiful.
We'll be up on that part of the track pretty soon.
Look, Eileen.
Yeah. There's that trestle bridge built in the 1800s.
Down, down.
C'était spécial avec le tournage. Oui, oui, oui.
So this highlight section has amazing views. Those are the tops of the Sawtooth Peaks. They're the tallest peaks on our railroad, and they're mostly always covered in clouds and fog. But surprisingly today, we are able to see the very tip tops of them. You may notice that they are very jagged, and that is because they were left untouched by the glaciers that carved out this entire valley thousands of years ago. The proper term for that is a nunatak, which meant an island above the sea of ice. So everything else was below the ice, and the ice was over a mile thick, the glacier that carved out this valley thousands of years ago.
Goodness.
Have a picture straight up on the right-hand side.
Straight up on the right.
I did. I got the river.
Below this entire valley in 1898, you can imagine what it looked like. It was completely clear-cut, and there was a bustling tent city with about 8,000 tents, 17 saloons made out of wood, lots of brothels and gambling halls. It was a really rough place to live. It was called White Path City, and this is where the railroad workers, hikers, and stampeders would be stationed, hauling their supplies from Skagway to here, White Path City, about milepost 12. Take a ride from the rails down to the river below, and it is incredible. We'll be wrapping around the mountainside, going over the bridge, and into the first tunnel of the day. So get your cameras ready. If you're in the back of the train, you can get a picture of the front of the train going around and over the bridge and into the tunnel. If you're in the front of the train, you can get a picture of our engines right there, or turn behind you and get a picture of the train cars at the back of the train wrapping around the mountain.
We're going to go through this rock. Oh my goodness. David, we must be above the clouds, but we're not above the clouds. Oh, jeepers. You got it looking down that way. Oh. That's okay. You got it. You got it.
C'est les paysages.
Oh, you'll have to shoot it.
You can get an unobstructed view of that scene of Inspiration Point here in just a little bit. There will be some old telephone and telegraph poles from World War II in your pictures for a little bit, and then they'll disappear. And you can see Skagway Harbor. We're 17 miles by rail, 10 miles as the crow flies.
J'espère que les gars n'ont pas photo.
You got nice and aware.
Oh, just this. No, I can still see. It's just make out the shoes.
Oh, they go.
Gold prospectors in 1898. Now, because the White Path Trail was 600 feet lower in elevation than that of the Choku Trail, it did allow for the use of pack animals. But the men who had the idea to go and purchase animals or pack animals from Seattle and Vancouver decided to go to the blue factory lines because they could get them for 25 cents a head and come and sell them for outrageous prices as quote-unquote healthy horses. Horse feed was nearly impossible to obtain, and if you could even find it, it was more expensive than just purchasing a new horse on the beaches of Skagway. There were spots on that trail where if you or your pack animal took a misstep, it would mean a 500-foot plunge to your death. So because of these factors and many others, it said that over 3,000 horses died at the hands of the gold prospectors. Jack London, the famous writer, came up here. He witnessed the Dead Horse Gulch area and hiked the White Pass Trail, and he wrote some of his most moving writings from this area. I'll quote some of his writings. Jack London said, "The horses died like mosquitoes in the first frost, and from Skagway to Lake Bennett, they rotted in heaps, made sad."
Just the view just goes on and on and on.
And this is only going to be...
This bridge is totally falling apart. It was retired in 1969. The weight of our new Alto engines was too heavy for this bridge, so they retired it, and they built a much safer and more stable unusual route that we will be using. But it is because of the completion of this bridge and our railroad that we are given a very prestigious title. This title ranks us up with the Statue of Liberty, the Eiffel Tower, the Panama Canal. We are some of the 206 international historic civil engineering landmarks of the world. Now, as we pass that, you'll get a great picture of it, and then we'll be heading over that steel bridge. On the right-hand side of the train will be the headwaters of the Skagway River, and they're usually a light aqua color because of the glacial silt that is suspended in it. And the cats go...
I have to get the right side on the way back.
It's too dark.
Be looking straight down to the left-hand side of the train, and you will soon start to see, if you can't see already, a very narrow, mossy trail down there.
Oh, yeah.
This is the White Pass Trail. Now, the White Pass Trail is that of the prospectors that they took up here in 1898, so it's called the Trail of 98 through this section. This is the only section, really, of the White Pass Trail that is still intact, and we're lucky enough that it is the only section that we can see from the train. It's only visible from the train. That trail down there is not much wider than the aisle in your coach car, and it did allow for two-way traffic with loaded pack animals. It said that the line to get into Canada to get your supplies checked would be all the way back here. Now remember, you had to bring in a year's worth of supplies, or else you were not allowed into Canada because they were worried that there would be a famine because there weren't enough merchants in the frontier wilderness. And it said if you forgot an item or were a pound short or an item short, you were sent back down to Skagway to obtain it. You can see a lot of railroad ties, an old snow house where they used to have different things down there. Parts and pieces of the gold rush. These are all artifacts.
We're right at the Canadian border. Northwest Mountain. This is where the gold
This is
prospect
Summit Lake on the left-hand side. It is a beautiful aqua color because of all the glacial silt that is suspended in the water. Summit Lake is a glacial tarn, so it is about 4 miles long. It's only about as wide as we can see here, but it's almost 200 to 250 feet deep. Now there are fish in this lake for all you fishermen on board. Arctic grayling and lake trout are popular to catch in this lake. But glacial tarns are all very long, narrow, and deep because they were formed by glaciers thousands of years ago. Now folks, we have an extra special treat for you today. There are many trains on our tracks today. There are actually 6 trains on the tracks right now. And we are the second train. So because there are so many trains, this is where we would normally stop and switch our engines from the front to back. Everybody would flip over their seats and swap sides. We call it musical trains, where we do this train in motion thing and switch.
Frazer Pass, I think it is, at the border of Canada and the US. And we're getting a special roundabout treat today because of the fact that there's so many trains on the route. We get to go around a loop. I'm not quite sure what that means.
enjoying the ride?
It's a small glacier up on the mountain.
Sit up, little buildings over there. Yeah, so we're gonna wait for one train.
Frazer, Canada over there. And we're getting a reflection from the windows in the back.
At 7? Oh, PM. At the end.
And over in the distance is Frazer, British Columbia, part of Canada. And we are pretty far up now.
Minus. It's crazy. Yeah. You're in like that. With the motorhome, it goes along.
Oh wow. So we have another sunny, partly sunny day up here. Most of the time this would all be in clouds. And maybe even raining.
Just like New York.
But we have just been blessed. Interesting little area.
It sure is.
Now we're on our way back down, or at least around the loop that extra loop that we did, and then we'll pick up the track going back down to Skagway. I wonder how much of this debris here is from back in the 1800s. Probably not much.
But that's what she was talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of it is.
No, don't do that. We need accurate video. Skagway River, the headworks of the Skagway River.
As we come out of the tunnel, you can now see our famous steel cantilever bridge. This bridge was constructed in 1901, was retired in 1969. Now you can see why we don't use it, because it's clearly starting to fall down on the right-hand side. But it was fully intact in 1969 when we retired it. It was just the weight of our engines that was too heavy for it. When they constructed this bridge, though, in 1901,
places. Oh gosh. Well, that siltiness in the water is from the glaciers.
זה לא גשר רציני.
Didn't get this side. I can't even tell whether it's getting any